Hello, welcome to this tutorial where I'll show you how to make a camera look at a moving character or model. So first of all, go to File, New, and then create a new session, or of course if you've already got a session you want to implement this in, just use that. Anyways, just choose any name and just 24 frames and click Create. Then load up a map. Click the camera button so that we can use the work camera, and then let's find a place to have a character run around, and the sawmill is a good spot, so let's teleport the player there, and then let's record the character running around a bit. Okay, so now we've got the character running around. So now we want to create a camera that follows him. So first, let's click this drop down and then change scene camera to camera 1. If it didn't create a camera 1 for you, simply click new camera. Anyways, camera 1, and then click the camera button to switch to it. And then let's place it up here somewhere, like so. Now we're gonna want to animate it, so we're gonna have to create an animation set for it. So click the drop down and then create animation set, and there we go. Now, to make the camera follow the character around, we could animate it manually. So we could select the transform and then go to the first frame, and then have the camera look down here, and then when the character comes in, set another keyframe, and then and then when it gets there, we could rotate the camera and so on. But it's not it's not exact. It's not like it snaps onto his head. So if you want some more precision, if you just he's running a lot here, so it's gonna take like 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how precise you want it. Could even take 30 minutes if you want it really precise. So what we're going to do instead is that we're going to create a view target for the camera. So just like the character's eyes have a view target, so that you just move this view target around the world and the character will look at that, we're going to do that for the camera as well. And as far as I know, there's no built-in feature for that, so you can only alter the rotation, etc., but you can't make it look at something unless you actually rotate it yourself. But we're gonna make that, so control click this button to switch to the work camera, and then first of all switch to the motion editor, and then we're gonna have to rotate the camera to position, rotate it to 0, 0, 0. So click the transform node of the camera, and then double click the rotation slider and change the pitch and the yaw and the roll to 0. And then hit enter to apply. Okay, so now the camera is just facing straight ahead. The reason for that is that models will be spawned right in front of the camera, but it doesn't take pitch into account. So if we have a camera looking down and then we spawn a model, it'll still spawn up here, but we need it to be right in the center, so that's why it needs to be facing exactly 0. So now we're going to spawn a model that we're going to use for the view target. So right click in the animation set editor and then create animation set for new model, and then in the filter type in axis, and this brings up a few models. Just select the axis _ helper, and then untick look at camera and click open, and this model should be spawned right in the center of the camera. And there we go. Let me just disable lighting. Okay, so now it's right in front of the camera. So we're gonna add an aim constraint to the camera and this model that makes the camera always look at this model, and although the reason that it needs to be in the center of the camera is because when we apply this aim constraint, it's going to be relative to where it is right now. So for example, if we had it over here and then we apply an aim constraint between the camera and this model, then it's gonna be, offset it a lot. So when the view target is here, the camera will be looking here, and if we were to move the view target over here, the camera will then be looking here. So that's why it's important that it's in the center, unless you want that kind of offset. And then all we need to do is simply click the model that we spawned to work as a view target. Click that, and then control click the camera. So basically select the two, but you must select the view target model first. Then go into the script editor, and you probably don't have this tab, so go to Windows and then script editor, and then in this text box down here type sfm period, and that needs to be lowercase, and then type aim constraint in one word with a capital A and a capital C, and then a starting parenthesis, and then MO equals true with a capital T and an ending parenthesis. I'll post this in the description, and then click submit, and the console should just say running script, maybe some more lines, but it doesn't matter, it should work if it says running script. And of course, granted that you don't have some kind of error, because if you misspell this, like if you use a lowercase c, it'll complain. Now if we go back to the animation set editor and then expand the axis over and the body, and then click root transform, and we move it around, you can see the camera is now also rotating to look at this. And if we just switch to the work camera, it's a bit easier to see that if we move this view target, the camera will look at that. Okay, so far so good. So now we can control the rotation of the camera by just having this, moving this model around. So the next thing to do is place it on the head of the character. So let's do that. The easiest way to do that is switch to the screen manipulator and then drag it and then hold down shift and aim at his head. If you want to have the camera look at his head, of course. Maybe move it into his head like so. So now it's inside his head, in the center of his head. So that's good. So now what we're going to do is first of all apply this motion, and then we're going to add the scout to the animation set editor so that we can lock the helper onto his head. The easiest way to do that is switch to the clip editor and then hold down control so you get all these model names, and then hover the mouse on the model that says scout.mdl, this one right here, click, and that'll open it in the element viewer. Then right click on the green name and create animation set for element. That's just an easier solution than going into this plus and then create an animation set for existing elements. And if you have 100 scouts, probably exaggerated, but if you have a lot of scouts, it's going to be a bit more difficult to find the right one. So this is just an easy way to do it. Anyways, expand the scout node and the body node, and then drag the head onto the transform of the model. And then click the transform of the model, switch to the motion editor, make sure all time is selected, and then the playhead preset to 100%. And now the view target model is following the head around. And remove the lock. And if we switch to the camera, we now have a camera that's looking at the character while he's you may notice that it's lacking quite a bit, and I don't know why. It must be some kind of bug. It always happens right after you apply some kind of constraint, but you just have to restart Source Filmmaker and that lag should be gone. So yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. Now if we go back to the character, you'll notice that we can see the view target, and you probably don't want these pipes to be sticking out of his head when you render this out. So what we're going to do is that we're going to right click on the axis underscore helper 1, or whichever model you chose. It doesn't really matter because you're not really gonna see it. It's just a fitting model. Then show in element viewer, and then click model, and then it'll open up in the element viewer, and you see this attribute called visible, and you simply untick that, and it'll be gone. And you don't really need it to be visible because as soon as you go into the model and you click on the root transform, you can see this gizmo to help you move it around. So that's perfect. Oh, the back seems to be gone. So maybe you just have to switch away from the camera or something. I'm not really sure, but you can experiment with that. So that's how you can make the camera always look at the character. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you were able to follow the tutorial. Anyways, see you later. Bye.